It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all. I'll be back. Stick around. Get to the chopper!
That is one of the single greatest answers I've ever gotten in my entire life.
Yeah, do more. Go do it. Now.
We're going, we don't need roads.
I'm going to jump into this. Mr. Schwarzenegger, I'm going to start with you. I would imagine as an actor, it has to be so refreshing getting to play a character where you can kind of flesh him out over multiple episodes and multiple hours, hopefully multiple years and seasons. With a movie, you just have that finite 2 hours. Who is a cinematic character that you've played only one time that you wish that you had this kind of time with to flesh him out and get to know him like you did with Luke and Fubar?
I think Conan the Barbarian is one of those characters. The other one is twins. There's so many of them that could be done as ongoing stories. And there were several of them. But I'm so happy that I had the chance to do, the character from True Lies, because of the combination of comedy and of action. Whereas Conan is just the action, it's very little comedy, and Twins is mostly comedy but very little action. So in this case, it's both, right? And so it's just was absolute heaven for me to have them offer me, this Fubar TV series, and now to see it, becoming such a big hit and so popular. I mean, it was probably the most popular kind of promotional video that was ever put out there. And the post and all of these ideas, everything's just 100%, kind of like popularity and all this stuff. So we're very excited about that.
That's why I love it, because it reminds me so much of True Lies, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. Monica, I was just told by multiple cast members that Arnold has a tendency to casually drop some of his iconic one-liners into just casual everyday conversation.
Like, he will reference stuff that he said just in person. Like, he knows how famous he is. It'd be crazy if he didn't.
Yeah. Arnold walks in quoting himself. Every day it's a new quote from a different movie, and Arnold's going to quote himself, so he kind of opens the door for you.
Yeah, he'll just overhear something and he'll just throw in a fucking line from Commando or something. Yeah.
So I am curious, what is your favorite line you've heard Arnold just casually say out there?
Well, day one, I show up and he has sunglasses that say, "I'll be back," across the front of them. That was pretty iconic. I was like, okay, I need a pair of those. We also all started to just repeatedly say, "Get down." He started it, actually. Because he was helping me get into his accent and how people, imitate it comedically. And that became a thing that everybody, especially Fortune, would just double down on. Get down.
Yeah, I mean, I was on the set getting ready for my scene, and all of a sudden she screams, I was literally about to get this action, and she starts screaming loud, "Get to the chopper!" I said,
there was one line
why are you
that
trying
said,
to throw me off like that? I mean, it was totally out of nowhere.
There was a line in the script that said, first of all, he had said chopper or choppa in a scene, and I could see all of our crew they became 10-year-old boys again. It was hilarious. And then in a scene later in that day, I was supposed to say the word chopper. I was like, all right, I think he has trademarked this word. Should she say helo, helicopter? What do we have here? What are our options? Because I think it's you can't say chopper. It's not. Might as well not be a word. It's choppa.
Exactly.
It completely changed the pronunciation of the word.
Yeah.
This might be a silly question, but I'm going to ask you guys, because since we're talking about all of the great one-liners that Mr. Schwarzenegger has had, what is the most underappreciated Arnold Schwarzenegger one-liner? There are always the classics that we all say over and over again, but what's the one, maybe Mr. Schwarzenegger, that you're kind of surprised you don't hear more often, because to you it's a fantastic?
The bottom line is, none of the lines that I've ever done, we thought that they would become popular one-liners. None of them. I mean, even "I'll be back," which is now the most used one-liner movie line in a history. But when we were fighting, Jim Cameron and I were fighting, while we were doing the scene, should I say, "I will be back"? And he says, no, say, I'll be back. And I said, it sounds more machine-like, I will be back. He says, no, don't rewrite my script. I wrote, I'll be back. I am the writer. I don't tell you how to act, and you don't tell me how to write. And this is how we were arguing back and forth. And then finally we did 10 different takes of I'll be back. And I said, what a stupid line, right? And the next thing I know is the movie comes out and everyone comes up to me and says, say the line, I'll be back. And I say, I'll be back. And they say, no, the way you said it in the movies. And I said, I'll be back. Yeah. This is it. So that's when we realized, this is a really great line. And then we just added it to action movies. When I stabbed the guy in the chest in Predator, and I just said, stick around, and things like so. It was like, and get to the chopper. But get to the chopper was not supposed to be a funny line. But just because the way I say it, it became funny. Or like saying to the kindergartners, it's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all. So that became kind of like, it's not a tumor. It's like when you do it exaggerated. So anyway, none of those lines were meant to be funny lines. But it just then when I say it, it becomes funny for the American or for the international audience.
That is one of the single greatest answers I've ever gotten in my entire life. If you guys, I honestly have to tell you, I think, please forgive my friend, he's dead tired, is one of the greatest lines in the history of
in
cinema.
Commando.
So yes, I think it is a masterpiece. Guys, if you can't tell, I love both of you. I love this show is made for me. So seriously, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time today. And Mr. Schwarzenegger, I just want to say, I fell in love with movies because of you, sir. My parents used to take me to your films. I grew up with your films on VHS. I have this job in part because of my love of what you've done. So I just want to just take a moment and just say thank you for everything you've done, sir. I appreciate you.
Yeah, do more. Go do it. Now.
Yeah. Guys, I love you.
Crush it. You. Yeah.
Love you.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.